Hey y'all, it is April the 16th, 2018, y'all. I gotta get to bed soon. Alright, I want to explain just right now. A few minutes ago, I had made a video discussing a very serious topic that I have been meaning to discuss with y'all for a while. I made the video and it's about 18 minutes long, and I realized after making the video that the audio did not record at all. Does that ever happen to you? It's terrible when that happens. I mean, it's really kind of frustrating. However, I'm just gonna have to remake the video. It's because that's what I do, man. And it's a very serious topic and it's very crucial. I'm probably gonna shoot it tomorrow morning. All right, because in the meantime, I realized that, well, that audio did not get recorded and I had to redo it. But I also saw a comment from a very dear commenter of mine, or whatever you call it, an internet buddy, left me a comment and it inspired me to do this video, in which I think that is very appropriate and a lot of people would find it beneficial. And I've talked about this particular topic before, but might as well just go ahead and make another video dedicated to it. I want to say real briefly that he asked me to keep him in his prayer, or keep him in my prayers. All right. The thing is, what I gotta let him know is I do. I always do. All right. Just constantly. I already do. However, even more better than that is to discuss something that he might find beneficial, and like I said, maybe a lot of other people will find beneficial out there. And that is more than likely voices in your head, right? I've experienced it. I mean, suffice it to say, probably everybody on earth has experienced it. Voices in your head, and they could sound like anything. They could sound like anybody, all right? They could sound like yourself. They could sound like your most favorite person on earth. They could sound like your worst enemy. They could sound to you like God talking to you in your head. They could sound like Satan himself talking to you in your head, or some sort of demon talking to you in your head. Does not matter. This is all encompassing. Voices in your head, talking, talking and telling you things. All right. And I want to be very clear. This goes for all voices. I don't care what the voices are telling you. The voices could be telling you, oh man, you look so pretty today. Oh man, you deserve this and that. They could be telling you all sort of good things. That doesn't matter. The voices could be telling you things that you don't even understand. All right. The voices many times could be telling you all sort of awful things. All right. About this and that, about other people, about yourself. They could be telling you all sort of voices. All right. I mean, they could be telling you all sort of things, these voices. All right. What I want to suggest to you, very sincerely for your consideration, is to understand that there's voices in your head. And like I said, it could sound like anything. It could be saying anything. All right. Those voices, I want you to consider disregarding those voices. I want you to assume that those voices, no matter what they're telling you, they mean you no good. All right. And they're not even worth your consideration. Basically, what I want to suggest for you to do is this. Those voices, they're telling you something. They're telling you things. Maybe they're telling you all sort of things. All right. I want you to hear the voices and, in a sense, disregard them. Like, if you watch a movie, you know what I'm saying? Kind of think of it as a movie. Whenever you're watching a movie, technically, it shouldn't really affect you and your mental state and your mind state, because it's coming from externally, movies. And so people, more often than not, they'll see a movie and they don't really let it affect them. I want you to take these voices that are saying whatever it is that they're saying to you, and know what they're saying, but at the same time disregard them. Perhaps put them on the back burner somewhere, tuck them somewhere in your mind just to dwell upon them later. Do not think about them. Do not consider what they're saying in this moment. Like, for example, lots of times people will have voices telling them very bad things, very discouraging things, and they'll let the voices get them down. They'll let the voices get them very depressed. They'll let the voices convince them of all sort of wild things that don't make any sense. And there's times when people, they feel like it's the voice of God. It isn't. At least that's what I'm suggesting to you. And I'm willing to guarantee you it's not the voice of God, because here's the thing. God is not going to talk to you in words. All right? What I'm here to suggest to you, and I've been suggesting for a long time, is God will show you things through signs. He's not going to talk to you through words, not in your head. It is not going to happen. A lot of people get very disillusioned and think that it is possible. Like they'll be praying to God, or whatever God it is that they believe in, and they'll be like, oh, and then God told me this. No, God didn't tell you this. No, not at all. If you're to read the Bible, you might come to the conclusion that I came to, and in that, ever since Jesus came to earth and did what he did, God really does not have any need to say anything else. Everything that God wanted to show you, in that sense, he already showed you a long time ago. At the same time, he'll give you signs, and you have to look for them. You have to be still, and you have to really dwell upon signs around you if you want God to communicate to you, because he's not going to do it through voices. All right. More than likely, basically what it is demons talking to you, and they'll sound like anything. They'll sound like anybody. Disregard those things that they're telling you, because they'll only stand to fluster you and mess up, or have you mess up your own life, and that's not good. All right, take those things, and perhaps if you want to even write them down, and then later on, much later, maybe days later, you can look back at that writing of what those voices told you, or maybe you can recollect what those voices were telling you, and days later you're going to understand that it's total gibberish. It's not even anything based in reality. For the most part, it's lies and deception. It's happening in your head. All right. Also, I want to point out something that a lot of people don't know. However, it's kind of on public record. We're living in an amazing time. All right. And for as long as I can remember, and well before I was born, basically there's been technology that has existed that the general public has not been aware of. All right. Like, for example, if I were to go to most people who I see on a day-to-day basis, in fact, I did it the other day, and I was to tell them, look, there is technology that exists, where basically you could take a machine, certain kind of technological, advanced machinery, and you can shoot voices into people's heads, directly into their heads. Nobody else will hear it. It will go directly into a single person's head. That might sound fantastical. I mean, it might sound like, oh, that's Twilight Zone. That's some sort of futuristic, nightmarish thing that could be possible in the future. No, that's been possible for a while, and it's actually it's on public record. A lot of people have talked about it. Like, just to give you an example, yeah, you might be walking down the street, and sometime in the near future, and you walk past a certain vending machine, just walk past it, it'll shoot a commercial into your head. The commercial, the audio of the commercial will play in your head and nobody else will hear it. I know that sounds fantastical, but if you go ahead and Google it, understand that I did not make that up. All right? Thing is, voices, whether or not they're coming from a machine, from technology, from someone trying to mess with you, probably certain nefarious people involved in the government trying to run experiments on you. Those voices aren't good for you. They'll never be good for you. Your own voices that you hear in your head organically, those are not good for you. All right? They will do you harm in the end. Like I said, if you can manage to do it, what I'm sincerely suggesting for you to do is to not listen to them. And I know that's very much harder said or harder done than it is said. I know that, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. Those voices will never help you. Lots of times people hear these voices and it convinces them to do terrible, violent things that otherwise they would have not ever considered doing. Right? Those voices, they mean to be your destruction. Right? So please disregard them. You know, don't think anything of them in the moment. If you must, if you want to recall them later, like I said, write them down or just tuck them in the back of your head. Don't even think about it. Think about it days later. Think about how silly those voices are. Think about how that is not God. That's not your loved ones. That's not even yourself. That's not yourself talking. They may as well be demons. They may as well be technology from someone trying to mess with you. You never know. You'll never know. And um, just to close out this video, this is a concept to me that was described very much in greater detail by my pastor, Jesse Lee Peterson. And in that, you know, your thoughts, we're all trained to listen to our thoughts. Meanwhile, if you're of sound mind and you're of confidence in your purpose and God's purpose for you, you have no use for those thoughts. You have no use for those voices. They will never benefit you and they don't benefit nobody around you. A lot of people suffer from these voices, and like I said, they tell all sort of terrible things. I've heard voices, you know, in my past, and it's told me all sort of, you know, terrible things that would get me down. All right, some people are already in that situation, and they're looking for a way out. They're really, really suffering. The only thing that I could suggest for you, the only thing, I can't think of anything else, is to pray. All right, but the thing is, like I've been suggesting out there, there's no use in praying unless you know who God is. You need to know who God is. There needs to be a definition to God, because you can pray into the wind and it ain't gonna help you. You need to pray to God for security. You need to pray to God for a sound mind. You need to pray to God for peace and success. All right, and I truly believe that if you do so and you actively dwell upon your prayers to God and know that He's not going to talk to you, He's not going to talk back. Know that. Know that if you're asking for Him, if you're asking Him for things, He might not give you those things. All right, that's not even the point. He gives you everything anyways. He gives you every good thing that happens in your day-to-day life. He already gave it to you. Right? He did so very willingly. He you know what I'm saying? He's not even asking you to acknowledge every little thing. He's giving you so many things that sometimes it's overwhelming. You can't even take it all in. He's giving you so many good things all at one time that it's not even possible to concentrate on all of them. You become overwhelmed with the good blessings that God has given you. right? If you concentrate on humble prayer, and sometimes people describe it as hitting your knees. You might have to do that. Some people will describe praying as putting your face on the ground and just asking God to forgive you for every time that you thought you could have success without Him. And I truly believe that these voices will become discouraged by that. You will drive these voices away from you. Demons are terrified of God. They're terrified of the power that you have in God. They cannot compete. It's just that people who don't believe in God, or people who might believe in some silly Alibaba, you know what I'm saying, that kind of God, they're going to be deceptive. They're going to be very susceptible to these voices because there is only one. You do need to know who you're praying to. And you're going to see these voices, and you're going to hear these voices subside in the end. They have no power over you. It is some silliness in your head that won't stop yapping until you tell it, hey, shut the hell up and go back to hell where you belong. And that is what it is. All right. That being said, I pray for all y'all out there. You know, the thing is, my prayers aren't going to get you through. Only God is going to get you through, and that's only my suggestion because I really don't know, but that's all I have to offer you. All right. I wish you all sort of peace and success and victory over Satan. And Satan is very real. All right. And he has a lot of minions, and they love to talk. Forget about them. We're balls deep in the tribulation. It's April the 16th, 2018, and I'll have to holler at y'all a little bit later.